everyone. The third eye is taking you to see the world. You may not know, in the 1990s, there's a well-known variety show in Taiwan. It aired every Saturday at 10 p.m. The name of this show was Rose Night. Today I'm going to bring you two true stories about fishes. Especially after the Rose Night broadcast, the first story was reported by all the medias at that time, caused a sensation. Even to this day, Taiwanese still take delight in talking about this event. It just like the modern version Liaozhai stories, which called in English Strange Tales, is a collection of classical Chinese stories by Pu Songling, comprising close to 500 marvel tales. Now let's start the first story. There was a young couple, lived in the Mingshan community of Jiui, Taiwan. Husband was a Taoist. They arranged to have a picnic and outing to the stream side of Gang Mountain, Kaohsiung. Together with the couple, there was another couple living in Tainan, and a 34-years-old man surnamed Chen living in Jiaxian, total 5 people. Like many outdoor enthusiasts, when the 5 people drove to the stream side at Gang Mountain, they started barbecue and fishing for their picnic. The man surnamed Chen was in charge of fishing. It's about dusk, which is dinner time. Chen caught a tilapia fish about 4 kilograms. In Taiwan, it's called wugua fish. Because they were all very hungry, the fish was simply prepared and put on charcoal fire to grill. The yummy fish was roasted and ready. Just when everyone was enjoying the dinner, suddenly a terrible scene appeared. Someone heard the voice of an old woman, and spoke in Taiwanese, "Is the fish meat tasty?" 5 people looked around, there was no one else in this wilderness. Who's talking? Everyone felt confused, but the 5 people heard again at the same time. "Is the fish meat tasty?" 5 people followed the sound and searched again. At last they were all stunned. It turned out that the sound came from the cooked fish. The fish's mouth was moving, it was speaking. 5 people were scared, 3 of them threw up everything they had eaten. How terrible it was. It happened at wilderness an evening, a devil fish appeared. How shock. The timid people would faint immediately. It's too strange, someone thought of camera, he took a picture for this devil fish. 3 of the people who threw up had been sent to the hospital. During the doctors checking for detail, the 3 people told the devil fish affair to the medical staff. And swore that what they said absolutely was the truth, not a joke. But nobody believed it, because they didn't see by themselves. The second day, weirder thing happened again. The man surnamed Chen who caught the fish died on the evening at age 34. Because the cause of death was unknown. The doctor issued a death certificate, and had to said the reason was cardiac paralysis. The man from Jiui who was a Taoist, felt so scared, then went back to ask help from religion technique. The scariest thing was still to come. When the picture of the devil fish was revealed, it scared everyone. The part of the fish that has been caught in chopsticks, was an old woman's face. There were eyes, nose and mouth. It was like a horror movie. At that time, many people in Taiwan who knew the story were not willing to eat wugua fish again. The following is another tale regarding fish. This story happened in the Qianyuan years of the Tang dynasty. An officer named Shui Wei who was ill for 7 days. Suddenly he's in a dying state. He had no response when families spoke to him. The family accompanied him all the day, didn't dare to bury him because his chest was still a little warm. That's how it took 20 days. After 20 days, Shui Wei suddenly sighed and sat up. He told his family to take a look his colleagues in the county immediately. To see if they were eating sliced fish. And let family go to ask his colleagues to come here. His servant ran to the county office and found really his colleagues were eating fish. His servant expressed Shui Wei's words, colleagues put down their chopsticks and hurried to Shuawei's home. Shuawei told them, "You just asked people to buy fish, right?" All his colleagues nodded and said yes. Shuawei said to one of his colleagues, named Zhang Bai, that Zhao Gan who caught fish had hidden a bigger fish, replaced by a smaller fish, to deal with you. You went to reed bushes and brought back the big carp hidden by Zhao Gan. When you entered the county office, an official of Sihu department was sitting in the east of the door. The officer of the picket department sat in west of the door. They were both playing chess on their own. When you walked to the steps, Zhou Peng and Lei Ji were gambling. Pei Liao was eating a peach. You told them the fact of Zhao Gan hiding big fish, and said you would whip Zhao Gan 5 times. Then you gave the fish to the chef, Wang Shiliang. He was very happy and killed the fish. What I said was true, right? Everyone was stunned when they heard it. They said, "You're in a coma all the time, really? How did you know all the things?" His following answer surprised everyone. Shuawei told the people, "I was that carp." Shuawei added, "I had a high fever when I felt ill. I felt pain was so abnormal that I couldn't stand it. Then suddenly I felt chest tightness. That time I didn't even know I was sick, it's just sultry. Just wanted to find a cool place as soon as possible. I walked and walked with a crutch on hand. I was very pleased when I walked out of the town. It's so wonderful, just like a bird staying in a birdcage for a long time, one day suddenly released. Then it seemed I walked into a mountain. I looked at the river below, the water is crystal clear. Then I walked from mountain to the riverside. Then suddenly I had an idea to take a bath, just a thought, suddenly I found myself was in the water. Then I started swimming in the water. I swam and swam, suddenly one more idea came out. How nice it would be if I were a fish. At that time, a fish swam to my side, and said, 'It's not difficult, if you wished. I could make you temporarily to be a fish,' then swam away. After a while, I saw a fish head man riding on a whale was coming, followed by dozens of fishes. The fish head man started to read out the orders of the water god. He said, 'It's completely different between living in the city and in water.' Officer Shui disgusted the worldliness, and wished to resign from office, join illusory world and turn into fish temporarily. Let him temporarily to be a red carp of an east pond. But you have to pay attention, if you take advantage of the wind and waves in the river, and cause the boat capsized and people death. It would be your crime at underworld. You could be hurt by humans, if couldn't distinguish the bait, and greedy for food in the water." After listening to the orders of the river god, Shuawei looked at himself and was surprised to find his whole body has completely become a carp. So Shuawei swam freely wherever he wanted, either on the waves or under the deep pool. He almost swam all the rivers and lakes. Shuawei was assigned to East Pond. No matter how far he swam every day, he must got back to East Pond every night. One day Shuawei felt extremely hungry, but he couldn't find anything. That's when it was suddenly saw Zhao Gan was fishing, bait smelt so good. The bait was almost to the mouth imperceptible, although he knew should be careful of bait. Shuawei felt more and more hungry, and finally swallowed Zhao Gan's bait on hook. When Zhao Gan caught the fish which changed from Shuawei, Shuawei called him desperately. But Zhao Gan didn't care, because he was not able to understand a fish. After a while, Zhang Bai was coming and said County Officer Pei wanted to buy a big fish. Zhao Gan lied that there were no big fish. Then Zhang Bai found out the fish changed from Shuawei, lying on the reeds. He took it and left. Shuawei shouted at Zhang Bai, "I am your boss, why can't you recognize me?" Zhang Wei ignored Shuawei at all. When he entered the door of county office with the fish, he saw two officers were playing chess. They said to Zhang Bai, "What a big fish." When he walked to the steps, Zhou Peng and Lei Ji were gambling. Pei Liao was eating a peach. Everybody was pleased at such a big fish, and urged to hand it over to the kitchen. Zhang Bai then said Zhao Gan's tried to hide big fish. Pei Liao was angry and said he would whip Zhao Gan. Shuo Wei shouted at his subordinates, "Since I was your colleague, you don't release me only, but would kill me. Were you humane?" Shuo Wei was crying. But nobody cared about a fish. Shuo Wei said after Zhang Bai handed him over to Chef Wang Shiliang. Wang Shiliang picked up a knife and left him on the chopping board. Shuo Wei shouted to Wang Shiliang, but he still lifted the knife, and Shuo Wei's head was decapitated. After the fish killed, Shuo Wei here waked up. Hearing the story, everyone felt mysterious and surprised. They all said at that time, they did see the fish's mouth moving, of course no sound heard at all. After Shuo Wei's colleagues went back to county office, the cooked fish was not touched by anyone. And there were a few people who never ate fish for the whole life. Shuo Wei recovered from that day. Later, he promoted several times. After hearing two stories of the fish, what are your thoughts? The third eye is taking you to see the world. That's all for today. For more interesting topics, please pay attention to our next video. Thank you for your likes, subscribe, and share. If you have any thoughts, please leave us comment below. Thank you, bye-bye.